Good evening, Willowbrook apiaries. Thought I'd bring you along for the journey. What we're doing today is we're going through Hive 2A, the Black Beauty Hive. My son Noah, who's behind the camera, has decided that he wants to try to manage honeybees on his own, and I absolutely love the idea. So what we've done is we've set up a 5-frame deep nucleus hive, and a few days ago we put a frame of brood with the nurse bees over there. Checked it earlier and they have not raised a queen. They're starting to bring in some nectar, but not a lot. They don't have very many bees over there right now, and they are almost no brood and no eggs. I don't know what they've done with the eggs, whether they pulled all the eggs out and dropped them, or what they've done, but they can't raise a queen without eggs. So we're coming back into the same hive we took the frame from, and we're going to look in there and see if we can find enough resources that we can take another frame of brood and eggs from this hive to help boost his nucleus hive over with the blue bucket on it. If we do, we'll be walking over there in a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting into this. I've got my queen excluder on, this white line, and that's keeping the queen in the bottom box, so I know I'm not worried about finding her up here. This will be a honey super. So another side thing that I'll be checking is, are they utilizing that honey super yet? Have they started drawing out the frames to make me some extra honey? And just a real quick glance, it looks like they've chewed some up. They're really not using this box whatsoever yet, but it's a box where they've got to do all the work. They've got to draw all the honeycomb out still. So it's going to take some time, naturally. We're just going to bring this over here. One other thing that I need to address with this hive is the fact that I don't have a bottom entrance on it. So right now, all the drones that are in here cannot get out. They're stuck in the hive, just being fat and lazy, not adding their genetics to any other hives. So that's not a good scenario either. So I'm actually going to pull this queen excluder back off and leave it off until I can get a ventilated box where they can crawl out, or some other solution there. How did that frame get so out of place? I'm just going to apply some smoke to push the bees down in the box a little deeper. Can you bring to where you can see down? So right in here we've got a little bit of cross combing going on from the 3rd frame to the 2nd frame. So right away I know I'm going to have to correct that. You also notice I've got a different hive tool today. Those of you who do any kind of construction work or do-it-yourself projects around the house will know this as a 5-in-1 putty knife, or a multi-purpose tool, 5-in-1 tool. The reason for that is I left my hive tool at my second apiary location, and haven't gone back to pick it up yet, but these work just fine. Yeah.
Feels like a bee.
I'm just gonna nudge these girls out of the way. Pull this frame up and see what's happening. Got some drone brood. Some eggs, fresh eggs up here. Drone brood, looks like these peanuts all capped out. Ow! Really?
They're just sting you.
That was uncalled for. Sometimes they do that. Just totally unprovoked. And the solution for that is just a little extra smoke. I don't know if there was something on my arm they didn't like the smell of, or I just looked at that one cross-eyed or what, but she decided she was going to sting me. I kind of thought that was the case because she landed on my arm and was buzzing around a little agitated like. I wasn't really worried either. She did. She stung me. I prefer a bee sting over a needle at the doctor's office any day. I don't know if you can see it or not. Right off the tip of my 5-in-1, there's a baby bee starting to work its way out, chewing through the wax capping. But there's a lot of pollen on this, a lot of drone brood, so I don't really want to add this over to that hive. Set that out of the way. Adjust this comb over here that they've crossed. I might lose that. I'm gonna see if there's any eggs in it. Be careful about stepping too close in your bare feet, kid.
I know.
I forgot to tell him he needed to wear shoes if he was gonna come in the apiary. And this frame right here, you can see they're kind of building this piece of cell off the edge instead of off the middle, and so far I don't see anything of real value there as far as nectar or eggs, so it's going to get the removal treatment. We'll take that wax and add it to my wax jar. When we have enough of it, we just might be able to make some candles. Alright, check the next frame here. Different color pollen. That girl's got bright orange pollen baskets. This one's almost brown. I've seen some coming in the last few days that are almost white pollen.
I just pinched a hive beetle.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Bad news.
Very
This frame has a practice queen cup over here, ready if they need it down the road. It has a lot of pollen.
Should we use it?
Well, we're looking for... Well, you do need some pollen, so yeah, maybe. But you really want a frame of pollen, nectar, and eggs. And I'm not seeing any eggs on this one. Pollen generally goes along the outside. So, we'll move it to the outside for them.
I feel like I have bees crawling down my leg.
Never ignore the smoker, because if you do, what'll happen is you get stung by a bee and you want to put a little smoke on that sting so the other bees don't come and attack in the same spot, and you'll find your smokers burn out. So occasionally you just come back over and give it a few puffs on the bellow and keep it running. Just going through frame by frame, checking for cross comb,
and brood.
checking for
Ooh,
eggs,
that
brood,
has some nectar on it.
nectar. We got a frame of fresh eggs, some nectar and pollen. We're gonna inspect carefully, make sure we don't have a queen on here. Oh, there's one in my hair.
I see it. It kind of looks like it's gonna sting.
Nah, it does, it does.
But it won't feel good on your head.
It's hard to do my hair in the morning. Now remember, this one's Black Beauty Hive, so the queen probably has some Russian or buckfast qualities in her, buckfast bees, both of which I really want in my apiary. And this was a feral hive out of a bee tree. All right, just to be sure I'm not taking the queen, what I'm going to do with this frame is I'm going to shake this frame out. It's a very dark one, isn't it? Zoom right in on that one. Look how dark that one is. I'm just giving you an idea of the queen's genetics. That's a black bee. Great for surviving in northern climates. Or so I've heard.
Do you really believe it?
You know, I really haven't experimented enough to give my own answer on that. Just gonna gently blow on these bees. Move them around a little. Because I may just take this frame and give it with the bees into the Nucleus Hive.
Tell me.
I mean, I suppose the worst thing that could happen, right?
Yeah.
Is we do get the queen, we've got a queen over there, and they've got all these resources on this side, and they draw up a new queen. So let's go ahead and walk. You might ask why I've got a bucket on top of this hive. Now, modified internal hive feeder.
How do they get it?
A jar of honey here. That
How do they even get to it though?
I've poked a couple holes with nails into the lid and tip it upside down, the honey drips out back up.
Except it doesn't even really drip.
Oh, it does. And that's why they're all over here right now.
Well, it doesn't really look like it does.
We're just going to pull another one of these deep frames. As soon as they've got enough resources, they'll start drawing these frames out with wax.
Notice the difference in between the depth of a deep frame and a medium.
They're starting to a little bit right there, maybe. But we're just going to pull that one deep out and add in a medium.
With eggs and brood. I can't believe I just said that. I just said with eggs and brood. They're both the same thing.
No, eggs are eggs. And brood are the little grub-like larvae.
Oh, yeah. Pretty much the same.
Both result in more bees, but are different. Different and important distinction between the two.
Yeah.
So, just trying to get a queen drawn out over here. And really
yep, it definitely does.
boost this hive population.
And hopefully they get a queen cup.
just gonna sting me.
It probably would have if you didn't move your hand.
So the way this system works is we tip that up to give them some extra honey that they need. I know. Don't even bother commenting that you never feed your bees honey. Obviously, I do. I know the source of where the honey came from. I know it was a healthy hive. I'm not really worried.
Don't feed store-bought.
Yep. So now we got to go back over to our other side of the yard. Finish going through this hive quick and put things back together. Another practice queen cup just starting to be built here. Gonna turn a little to try to get some extra sunlight in the frame. Got great fresh comb here. It'd be nice to see eggs in that.
Yeah.
Bees know best.
Is there a bee on my head?
Not in sight. I'm gonna look right down here. And remember, I took this frame last time I was in here and moved the bees and just kinda tried to straighten this out, but they're not taking to it so well. It's, for whatever reason, at a funky angle again. But they do have a lot of nicely drawn comb here.
What was that?
Felt like a bee crawling up my leg. And I've learned over time that the best way to deal with a bee crawling up your legs is just smack it when you find it. Got nectar and pollen going in the same baskets here.
Mind showing it?
You got nectar here. Nectar on top of that pollen in this cell. You can see this cell's kind of wet.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're mixing what's called bee bread. They take the pollen and mix it with a little nectar and then pack it in there. And it ferments a little bit. And then they've got what they want. A little bit of carbohydrate, a little bit of protein, and good nutritious food.
20 minutes.
So we're going to start to put this back together. This was turned this way.
Hmm.
Treats from the hive. A little bit of it's different. A little bit of nectar and pollen, and I think there was actually a larva in there.
Yeah,
Protein.
I saw that. Murderer.
So tired of looking back and forth through my spare resources to figure out what I have available to use. I came through the hive the other day and I put all of my wooden frames in this stack and my plastic frames for honey supers in that stack.
Why use plastic frames for honey supers?
The plastic frames, as you recall from the video a few days ago, the plastic frames are the man-made cell size of 5.4 millimeters diameter, and the wood frames allow the bees to build whatever size they want. And in general, I find that they draw out more of a natural cell size of 4.9 millimeters or close to it when given the chance to do so, and it produces smaller and I believe healthier bees. So that's why.
Bigger cells might mean bigger bees, but they use more resources and they probably don't do much.
And over time, our bee populations have become less healthy, and that may be one contributing factor to that. Now, we can speculate about it all day long, but until we're willing to go back and have some beekeepers doing the large cell and others doing the regular cell, that's just that, speculation. So
I kind of wonder if a bigger bee gives harder sting.
so I'm transferring back to a more natural cell size in hopes that I can get back to healthier bees. That's all for tonight. Willowbrook apiaries, happy bees, healthy honey. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're liking what you're seeing. Thank you for visiting. God bless.